welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, your source for all things Everton. My name is Thomas, back on the channel today with another disappointing extra time. It's been a few days that we've taken to digest another poor performance at home against Aston Villa, joined today by Terry McAllister and Owen Parks. We're going to try and break down maybe what went wrong, a couple of the key moments in the match and where we think we need to improve. So Terry, I'll come to you first. What was your general reaction to the game? What did you make of it?
Same old, isn't it? Just can't seem to win at Goodison, can't seem to take the game to an opposition when we're at home. It's just like no quality in attacking areas outside of two players. Well, three players usually, but when one of them's injured and the other one's having a terrible night, i.e. James and Richarlison, nothing about us. So, yeah, the defending wasn't great, but over the season it's been all right for the most part. But it's the depth. There's no quality going forward in this team. It takes us 50 passes to get out of our half because we're just pinging it around the back constantly because no one's moving and showing for the ball. And then when we do get out, we give it to some waste of space like a Wobie who can't go past anyone and just brings it inside and loses it. Sigurdsson is just a statue. He can't move. He has the odd good moments here and there, but he can't move for most of the time. And Richarlison couldn't trap a bag of sand at the minute. Like, he just was awful. Like, his decision making was terrible. He was giving it away constantly. And the required set pieces didn't come. So just another terrible performance at home. And looks like it's going to cost us now at the end of the season.
Yeah. Owen, do you agree with that?
I'm just really sick, to be honest, of having to talk about the same waste of space, overrated group of footballers that Everton Football Club have. They've got a couple of good defenders. Calvert-Lewin's all right. The Corey's good when he's fit. The rest of them really bang average players who just aren't fitting for a team who finish in the top six of the Premier League. If that's what we're trying to do, we've got the wrong group of players for it. Simple as that. Aston Villa played a higher line and looked comfortable in doing so, created chances and still defending. I don't think they gave much to us. We edge out 5 to 10 yards to where we normally are, than where we were against Arsenal, and we suddenly look a shambles. And that is a personnel-driven issue, that players are just not good enough to getting results and taking the game to an opposition isn't sort of mutually exclusive. It's impossible. So this notion that it's boring, then it's just bollocks, to be honest. But it's impossible to get results with, in my opinion, the 10 or 11 best squad in the Premier League. The fact we're 8th should be an absolute blessing, to be honest, because some very bang average footballers are having.
Yeah, it's a strange one, definitely. Just looking at the stats, I mean, we had 3 more shots and then, they had a few more on target. Possession was very balanced. That wasn't really the story of the game at all. As you both mentioned with the high line, we did kind of struggle. And it's a weird one, really, because I don't know what you lads make of it, but in terms of if we are going to play a high line that we do usually, the centre-half partnership, in theory, that you'd want were Godfrey and Holgate there. They're meant to be quicker, more mobile than in Yeremina and Michael Keane would be. But Holgate's been making a couple of mistakes now. So, Terry, what do you make of that centre-back partnership, and why isn't it clearly not working that well, and especially in a game like this?
It's just asking for trouble. Like, I'm amazed you've asked me about that centre-back partnership and not Owen, because
I'll come to Owen in a second. There's no worries.
it's you could see what when you look at the combinations of centre-backs we've got and different partnerships, that's the one I would never pick, because it doesn't work. Imagine if we'd have been like Ollie Watkins made a show of them, especially Holgate. But Ollie Watkins made a show of them. Imagine a team like Burnley, like with Chris Wood. Imagine what they'd have done to us, like with the proper powerful centre forwards or a more wily one. Ollie Watkins was dragging them everywhere. The two of them, I could see why Carlo plays deeper now, because when we were high up the pitch, we were all over the place. Pickford was keeping us in it. Keane was terrible last week against Tottenham and was rightfully dropped. But the answer is not Holgate and Godfrey. You've got to pick one of them. The two of them can't play together. And for me, it's Godfrey every day of the week and twice on Sunday. the only centre-back partnership we haven't seen this season is Godfrey and Mina. I'd like to see that, see how that does, and if not, just go back to Keane and Godfrey, because that's it tended to work, I think, when it was when we had a little run of games. But we could have and probably should have lost by more, because Aston Villa were making chance after chance in that first half, and Pickford was just sparing our blushes. But the two of them are too lightweight to play together, and I'm sorry, Holgate's not a good enough defender to be the senior centre-back, which, you know, with Godfrey being newer to the club, that's what he is at the minute. Like Jamie Carragher made the analogy once of centre-back partnerships, big brother, little brother. You know, one's the senior, one's the junior. Well, they're two juniors, and Godfrey's got a lot more about him than Holgate, so it's got to be one or the other, and for me, it's Godfrey.
Yeah, I mean, Owen, I'm sure you've got many opinions to offer on Godfrey and Holgate.
Oh, I'm going the step further here. If I was the manager, which I'm not, going into that after the chances we gave up in that game and the just bizarre sort of decision making made from the whole back line as soon as they have to get up the pitch a bit. I'm throwing a couple of teacups at the wall, and then I'm going back to the flat back four with 4 centre backs, and I'm telling them to kick it to the corner flag when they're, instead of playing off in the back nonsense, if we want to get Europe. Because the only time we've looked decent for me this season to get results is when we've done that. And to a centre back can't do it. I'd go for Mean and Keane. I'd sit in the edge of the own box and just head the ball away all day, because that's the only thing that can get us results when we do that. But unless we're making up some sort of new brand of football that we seem to try and do once we win a game, then we just look nonsense. It's just nonsense. The next week, we went toe to toe with Aston Villa, who were about 6 or 7 points behind us before the kickoff, and we just looked all over the place. We need to sort of develop some sort of, I don't know, inferiority complex, no matter who we play, and just grind a 1-0 out, because that's the only way we're getting results, and that'll be the only way we're getting Europe. It doesn't matter who we play. There's just no ability to stop teams making chances when we try and change the style of play. So when people say to me, "Oh, it's boring," the managers are putting locking this team down, its attacking quality, I just do nothing but laugh, because the chances the team gives up when we do anything other than that. And still, some of the attacking players, I mean, there's some vastly overrated players in that position as well, but even we're not talking about them, and we're talking about the defenders. When we do anything else, we look in absolute shambles, and it's just to me a testament that if we'd have had any other manager this season, we'd be in real trouble, because the players don't seem to be able to respond or to be able to compete in any other system other than a deep defensive block. And you can even say, well, at the start of the season we were playing free-flowing football and they got us somewhere. But let's analyse this properly. Tottenham was an away game against the top 16, and we weren't exactly on the halfway line. It was what it was. With a Mourinho team we were playing. West Brom, and we went down to 10 men. Palace, we got 2-1 up at half time. One was a fortuitous penalty, and the other one was a nice bit of build-up play. Second half, we very much grind that out. And Brighton, who just decided to give us 4 goals, and we hit them on the break. After that, teams have had us off when we tried to do anything other than defend deep. So it's got to be. We have to play that exact same way until the end of the season. And I can already hear people say we've spent £500 million. Why are we having to play like this? One, it's a number of factors due to us having a series of recruitment policies that have all ended up being pretty much a nonsense to me, and that's ended up in creating a team on the pitch that doesn't fit together and isn't balanced enough to play anything other than I want to say basic brand of football, and that's the way it is. So if we want to get into Europe, it's the only way to be able to manipulate the situation is to and get it into our controllers to revert back to low block football.
Yeah, and you've just mentioned there about you haven't really understood the recruitment strategies in the past few years. We saw quite a different one in the summer. Obviously, we brought in, much bigger names than we have in the past, the likes of Alan and Decore and James Rodriguez. So, Owen, is that the strategy you want, going forwards into this summer? Because at the end of the day, we just need to improve with more quality. You've spoken at length there about how the squad's not good enough. Would you go for a similar strategy this summer, just to, recruit similar names again, but maybe not, as early on in their careers?
I don't know, to be honest, mate. I just want in the summer, wherever sort of, if we get into Europe or not, I don't know, but I want us to get into the summer, identify a group of targets in key positions that are going to fit whatever style of play we're going to go with going forward. If it's defensive, battling football, and we buy players that suit it, then fine. If it's more expansive, possession-based football, and we're going to buy players that suit that and are key in them roles to make it, to pull it off, then fine. But we need to buy players, not a name or he's good or could he's the next big thing. We need to buy players appropriate for the positions we need to make a sustainable style of football, whether that's something similar to what West Ham have done mainly this season, and buy players who want to work hard and defend the goal and hit teams on the break, or whether that's a more sort of, I don't know, Man City style. Man City are the same, but something similar to that in terms of keeping the ball, because we're going to have to keep something going that sticks, rather than people just not really knowing what we're going to do from week to week, and that's essentially all. Names don't appeal to me, plans do, and that's what I would say.
By pace, just by, we don't need more Allens or James Rodriguez. We need more Godfreys. By young players, don't have to be teenagers, but by young players who've got something to prove for a start. Like, it might be from the Championship or lower down the table or from abroad, but they're fast, with the most slow team I've ever seen. I mean, that our midfield is like that team on Father's Head in the Father Side, where it's all, like pensioners, and one or two of them are asleep in wheelchairs. That's how slow they are. Like Gomez. Oh, Owen, I owe you an apology, mate. First time I ever saw you on Twitter, I thought, hey, what's this idiot on about? Doesn't like Andre Gomez. Oh, mate, I've never made more of a show of myself in my life. Because
I've said a few things in my time that I've got some unwarranted stick for, which have proved to be right about. So I'll accept the apology, and I'll wait for everyone else's.
Mate, the midfield are just ridiculously slow. They don't create nothing. There's nothing about most of them. Is there any surprise, right? Since Decore's got injured, we've won one game, and that was Arsenal, where we proper fluked it with that ricochet.
We fluked it, but they're about as much use as a chocolate teapot themselves. So.
But this is the thing, though. It's like, it wasn't even because of the way we played. It was just we got away with one. Decore is the only player who can move in the midfield. I mean, Alan, does a job, and he does his job well, but when he's around, Sigurdsson, he's around Gomez, he's around Delph somehow, who's come back from the dead. When he's around all them, can't do nothing. I mean, how Tom Davis isn't getting on a pitch ahead of Delph is beyond me, but, whatever. We need to go out in the summer, and everyone's going, we need a right back, we need a right midfielder. Yeah, we do. Go out there and try and get aspirational players. Adams is probably going to, be a likely one, and everyone else I don't know. But I don't care what you do with the others. I know it's not as simple as that, but we need players who can cover the ground. We need more Idrissa Gueye. We need players like that, because right now everything we do is in front of the opposition, because we've got no pace, no urgency. So Calvert-Lewin is literally, how he's got 20 goals this season is just amazing, because we don't create anything for him apart from set pieces, because no one's quick.
Apparently, he misses 6 assists every week. Apparently, so.
Well, and we need to recruit Ben Godfrey profile players. Whether we go out and say to them, we could go out and say to them, as Rory Smith on the BBC said, go out to players who want to be at the top Champions League clubs and say to them, listen, we'll buy you, and then if 2 or 3 years top clubs come in for you, we won't stand in your way. Why not? Because that's what Leicester do. That's what Leicester did. Mahrez is at City now, Kante's at Chelsea. But look at them now. If we do that, or a version of that, and get it right, we'll still improve no matter what. But if you don't want to do that, if you've got too much pride to do that, then you want to be the destination, not the stepping stone or the springboard or whatever, then go to the Championship and go, right, I don't want players who are like Aguero. People are saying, no, well, let's not try and get Aguero for the biggest wages in history. Let's go and get Ivan Toney and just go, listen, we're going to play 2 up front and you're going to be one of them. Or not him, like go and the examples I'm thinking of are all coming back up, like Ismail Sarr. But you know what I mean? Like, go and look at quality players who are young and take the risks on them, because that's how we're going to improve as a club, not by signing Coutinho. I mean, I know that's probably not true, but what are the likes of them going to do when there's no one moving around them and they're just passing to statues?
There's a striker in the Championship, Ivan Toney's one, and he's the bigger name one that will get people, talking, and he'll end up going somewhere. But there's a striker at Cardiff, Kiefer Moore. He's absolutely, no, he's a really good striker.
I mean,
you'd laugh at Kiefer Moore, but Kiefer Moore will end up going to a Premier League team and scoring 15 goals. He'll probably go to Burnley.
I'm not laughing at it. I just knew you were going to say him because I knew you liked him.
Yeah, if they assemble more than a fiver together, they'll probably buy him because he's a really good centre forward. He's technically really good. He's strong in the air. He's not slow. He can hit it with both feet, and he scored, I think, about 22 goals for Cardiff this season. He's a good striker. Now, Everton won't go for him. They'll go for someone who's about 38, but scored 20 goals in 1998, and expect that to be the backup for Dom. I'm not saying go and buy Kiefer Moore or Ivan Toney. I just suggest we need to buy players that suit what we're going to do, more than just going out there and looking at names that they're good players, but they're not suiting our team.
I mean, yeah, it was a good discussion now on transfers, but I don't have too much more to say about the match. I think we don't want to dwell on it for too long. I think we know where the problems are. We've seen the problems kind of all season, and it's nothing new. And I think recruitment is going to be massive in the summer in terms of changing that. And there will be very little change from now and until the end of the season. But if we can get more results like Arsenal, maybe fluke a few more points, then we might find ourselves in the European places if we're lucky. But
just one more thing on the game before you wrap up. Listen, you can criticise any manager. You can criticise Carlo Ancelotti. I hate the fact that if you criticise a manager now, it gets construed as wanting the manager to be sacked, because that's what Arsenal Fan TV have done to the discourse, to the fandom. Criticising the manager is wanting them killed, apparently. But if you haven't got the brains to look at what's happened in the last two home games, where defenders have tantamount to backheeling goals into their own net, Keane, Holgate twice, and if you come away from that and go, it's the coaching, the manager's not good enough, then give your head a shake, because Carlo has got some things wrong, and he's got things wrong which I think he shouldn't have got wrong. That they were like Delph's an easy one. Why is he bringing Delph on instead of Davies? But if you're putting the results down on a manager and the way he coaches the team, when defenders are just giving opposition strikers easy goals, he can't.
Have you even got an answer for that? Have you even got an answer for why you brought Delph on? The week before against Arsenal, the midfield was all over the place. Delph came on, and by a fluke, the game went dead and we nicked one. That's why he did. He was hoping for the same again. It was by fluke because Delph doesn't do much right. But even still, he was just hoping for something similar to happen. Aston Villa got a bit more about them than Arsenal, so it didn't work. But managers tend to do things on continuity to try and build up a run of results, rather than do stuff that'll pander to the fans because they're bored or they don't like the football. It's just nonsense. I'm not going to speak about it. Fed up of it.
And then I guess that brings us to the end of the video. So, as I mentioned, don't want to dwell on that rubbish for too long. I'm sure we're going to have at least 3 more extra times before the end of the season where we're discussing exactly the same things, but hopefully more positive results, getting in the summer, hopefully with European football, see what we can do. So thanks Terry and Owen for joining me. Thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And at the end of the day, what is it, 5-6 more games left? Let's try and put a good run together, see where we end up.
Can we simulate them like you can on FIFA or something?
Exactly. So thank you all very much for watching, and join us next time on the Toffee Blues. Goodbye.